Welcome to my channel and welcome to Entertainment Industry Answers. I first just want to say thank you to all you Janet Jackson fans who have been interacting with me through this part 1 and part 2 of Romeo Johnson's perspective of touring with Janet Jackson on the Janet Tour 1993, 1994, and 1995. I hope you enjoy part 3, the finale, just as well. I want to make a point to say that none of these videos were designed to attack or call anyone out, but as you get to know me, you'll learn that as much as I do not like to start crap, I refuse to cover crap up, and I will at all times educate and share what I learn. Stay tuned. I'm going to be scheduling soon a live Zoom so we can all talk some more and I will answer more questions. God bless.
Caution, 100% real alert. This video has been rated no bullshit.
When I had my negotiation, once we were hired, they told us, this is what you're getting paid for salary. This is what your per diem is going to be. We think this is going to be a really successful tour. And if the tour does well after a year, we'll increase your pay if it's successful. I was young and green. I didn't know to ask for that. It was offered. So I remember we were killing everywhere we went. It was off the chain. So many celebrities would show up to Janet's concerts. So many athletes were fans of Janet. So many actors were fans of Janet. Man, I remember we did Madison Square Garden and Al Pacino was in the audience. Dustin Hoffman was in the audience. Wait, Cab Calloway was in the audience. Did you hear me? I said, did you hear me? Cab Calloway. This tour was so dope. And everywhere we went, MTV made sure we stayed in the forefront of everything. We were all fans of Bill Bellamy. And he would come and he would interview Janet and he interviewed the band and they would follow us everywhere we would go.
All right, guys, come on. I'm gonna show you the band. The band is some of the best musicians in the world. They've been picked out of hundreds of musicians to be behind Janet Jackson. Come on, let's go. I'm chilling with the band now. There's all elements of this crew. We got the dancers, we got wardrobe. Now we got the band, the people behind Janet that's making the music, making it pop, making it happen. I just want to tell y'all, man, this is the core here. This is the people behind Janet Jackson. And I think everybody here comes together to make a great team. Gotta love it. Y'all give yourself a round of applause for being here.
They made sure that the hype stayed hyped. The first year came to an end and there was this big celebration. Guys, this is a year. We've been on tour for a year. You guys have been amazing. I couldn't ask for a better band. You guys are amazing musicians. You make me so proud the way you carry yourselves. And we were so happy. And I remember we were in a dressing room. We were chilling, and I think we were getting ready to do another show. And I said, man, we've been doing this thing for a solid year, and we've been killing it. Did they mention to you guys at the beginning that after a year, they may give us a pay increase? Should we mention that? Man, you would have thought I asked for them to buy us all new mansions and Rolls Royces. The response that I got was so shocking. First of all, the musical director immediately shot it down. Nope, I don't think we should do that. We shouldn't try to make any waves. We shouldn't, I don't want to irritate them. I'm like, what? And then a couple other people chimed in and agreed. Yeah, no, we should just be happy with what we have. I don't think so. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. I'm sure not with it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not presenting anything that wasn't presented to us. I'm like, I'm just saying, should we ask? They said at the end of the year, maybe a pay increase. I'm not saying let's go kick the door down and be like, we demanded a raise, or else say, hey, is it possible? Nah, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. Rashida, Stacy, and one keyboard player, Daryl Smith. Those were the three that said, I don't see anything wrong with asking. Funny thing about Daryl Smith, by the way, I'm not really deeply into astrology, but Daryl Smith is a Libra like I am. Daryl and I often saw things the same way, but our personalities were so different. And I learned so much from Daryl because he would stay calm. I'm more passionate and outspoken. Daryl is more calm and well-spoken. So a lot of times I would say things and Daryl, he'd be like, I understand what Romeo's saying. I feel it. So I remember Stacy was like, I'm with you, Rome. Rashida was like, I'm with you. And I remember Daryl saying, I don't see anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with asking. But everyone else was like, nah, I'm not with it. Quite a few outwardly said, I'm not with it. Then the rest of them were just kind of like silent, like, I'm not even getting this. So I'm like, damn. Now you have to understand, at this point, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure out, am I wrong for that? And I'm second guessing myself. I'm like, am I out of line for that? Like, I don't understand. Why is it wrong to bring up something that they already said we should do? But I'm looking at everyone else and I'm like, am I an outcast? Am I weird? What the hell is going on? So I was so thankful that at least I had Rashida, Stacy, and Daryl to speak up. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not completely crazy. But I remember thinking, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask, right? So I went to Janet's tour manager. His name was Jaime. Well, he was just a really cool guy. And I saw Jaime and he says, hey, Romeo. I said, Jaime, let me ask you a question. I just want to ask you this. It's not a big deal either way. You know, it's been a year. Obviously, the tour's doing well. It's been great success, almost sold out every night. Janet always talks about how happy she is with the band. So I know things are going well. Are you guys in a position where we could possibly get a pay increase? Immediately he goes, yeah, I think so. I mean, I got to run it by Janet, ask Janet, but yeah, first of all, you guys have been amazing. The tour has been very successful. And I think so. I really do. I'll ask Janet. She said, I got two questions to ask you. How much of an increase would you want? And should we just make it the same amount across the board? Or should we negotiate person by person? I said, I don't really know how much right now. I haven't even thought about it that far. But to your question, should we negotiate with each person? Hell no. Probably gonna have some people who are gonna try to gouge the situation. And then you're gonna have other people that's gonna be like, I don't think we need to have anything. We should just, nope, I don't want it. I think you guys have done more than enough. He cracks up laughing. He said, I'm gonna run it by Janet. He said, well, I'm sure we can do something. I said, cool. Boom, walked away, forget about the whole thing. The following week, he walks into our room to give us the check stubs, the payment stubs. And he said, hey guys, just to let you know, starting next week, you're gonna have a pay increase. He says, not a whole lot. Everyone, the dancers, singers, and band, we're giving you guys all a pay increase. It's not a great amount, but it's extra $500 per week. So at least it's a couple of $1,000s more per month. When I tell you, I'm sitting back watching the reaction, all the band members. That's $2,000 more a month. That's, oh man, oh. And I'm looking. You see, I mean, you guys can thank Romeo for that. They didn't hear any of that. Omar Lopez, he knew about the whole conversation. So Jaime walks out, goes into the dancers' room, and in 2 or 3 minutes, you hear them, yes! You hear them from their room screaming. And Omar says, I told the dancers too, Romeo is the reason that happened. One person, Dave Barry, guitar player from Minneapolis, he said, hey man, I owe you an apology and a thank you. I said, for what? Because of course I'm not thinking about that other thing at this point. He says, bro, I wasn't with you. You know, he said when you were talking about the whole raise thing, I was one of the ones that was just kind of like indifferent about it. And he said I wasn't really supportive. But I have $2,000 a month more from my household. And that's because you moved. You moved on what you felt. I'm benefiting from it and I wasn't supportive. So I apologize. I'm sorry. And thank you. Because of you, my family's benefiting. That was huge to me. You know what I'm saying? It was huge to me, but only one person did it. Now, I still love every other member of the band. You know what I'm saying? It's a learning process. I went through 30-something years of this industry, learning. And I'm just trying to share this stuff with you guys so you know sometimes what to expect. And when things happen, you're not thrown off. It's okay. We're all different people. We're raised differently. We're taught differently. We're created differently. And it is what it is, you know. So now we got a raise. We're making more money. We're happier. We continue touring and killing and touring and killing. We started to go overseas, and they loved us overseas. We had some of the best times ever in Australia and in Singapore and Thailand. We went all over the place. Met many awesome people, great experiences. We had like maybe a month or two off during the Christmas time. So Jonathan Moffett had been the drummer. Jonathan Sugarfoot Moffett had been the drummer for the whole tour. Legendary, incredible drummer. Played Michael Jackson, played with the Jacksons, along with all kind of other amazing people. He played with Madonna, all of them. He was Janet's drummer. We took a break and we got contacted and said we're gonna be doing Australia, Singapore, Thailand, all these places. And they were saying that we're gonna have to use another drummer. And I don't know if Jonathan got another gig or what happened, but we were like, oh, okay, wow. So when I was playing bass with Sheena Easton, the drummer Brandon Temple for Sheena, he fell and broke his arm, and we had to get a substitute. And we got Omar Hakim came in and played for Sheena, and we hit it off right away. And so they were considering trying to get Omar Hakim to play for Janet, but I think he was passing on it. He reached out to me. By this time, I had purchased my first home in Atlanta, thanks to the Janet tour. Whoa, whoa. I was living in Atlanta. Omar reached out to me and he said, hey man, they called me about doing this Janet tour, but I don't think I won't be able to do it. He said, do you know this kid in Atlanta though? It's a young kid in Atlanta. He's a beast. He said, I was in Atlanta. I went to this club and he said, this kid was playing, his name is Lil Jon. They call him Lil Jon. He said, not the rapper. It's a drummer, young kid named Lil Jon Roberts or something, I think. He said, do you know who he is? I said, nah. He said, bro, you gotta go. I think the club was called Yin Yang or something like that at the time. He said, you need to go check him out, man. And you need to let Janet's people know he's the dude, right? Like that's who you need to get. I'm like, okay. Well, you know me, I'm low key. I go slip in the club, I check out who this Lil Jon guy is. Incredible. I'm like, this kid is killing. And he had swag. He just had a feel. He had a feel that was crazy. It was like he ejected his energy in every song. And he would make a song that you know have a whole different feeling the moment he starts playing on it. And I was like, this dude is incredible. So of course, I talked to the musical director. He was like, hey man, what's up with this guy? You know this guy that Omar's talking about? I said, I do not know him, but I went to check him out. I said, he's the move. He said, yeah, Sam said the same thing. I said, he's the move, man. He's like, damn, I gotta go by what you guys say because y'all are there in Atlanta. Y'all get to say, I said, bro, this kid is crazy. I didn't know if they were gonna move on that or not, but by the time we went to go rehearse for the Australia tour, he was there. They had sent him videos or recordings, so he came in already knowing the show. So the time came for Janet to come and hear the band. This is gonna be Janet's first time hearing the band with Lil Jon playing. The musical director was so nervous. And he kept saying, okay, Lil Jon, do you remember? Don't forget to do. I'll never forget this day. Janet was on her way and John was like so calm. He was like tuning his drums. He's like playing his doom, doom, doom. He's doing this stuff. Don't forget that you got the one hit. John's like, I got it. And do you remember such? I was like, this young kid, he was young, but he was so poised. Yeah, I remember. And don't forget, do you remember? I remember. He's like, I remember. I got it. Janet comes in. She says hi to everybody. They introduce her to John. She sits down with her back to us as if she's looking to the audience, just like we would be on stage. And she goes, let's just go for it. Let's run the show. We hit the show off I mean, almost immediately. It couldn't have been 4 to 6 bars in. She just turned around and looked with this big smile. And she looked at John and nodded. It was a break time. I talked to her. I was like, what do you think about the drummer? She says, I love it. It's like, gives the song all the songs like such a youthful feel. It's like it's a new, fresher feeling. That was the beginning of Lil John Roberts playing with Janet. I think he probably ended up working with her longer than most of us. So yeah, shout out to Lil John. So there were so many positive things that came from this tour. You know, like I said, I bought a house and met great people. But with any situation, the bigger the machine gets, the more the exposure of people's character or lack thereof will surface. Are you humble? Or are you arrogant? Are you entitled because you're on this gig? Are you using this gig to be a blessing to others? Or are you seeing this gig as a pedestal for people to worship you? It happens with all of them. It's part of this business. So anyway, as time goes on, different situations happen. I watched Pernell Elizondo completely disrespect people because he felt like he was in a position to do so. You know, he felt, I'm Janet's man and I can talk to people like I want to, and what are they gonna do? They're gonna take it, they're not gonna say anything back, they're gonna take whatever I give to them. And hey, to a degree, he was correct because he exercised it regularly. He would kind of joke and do the things that all of us would do. But when we would make fun of each other, if someone made fun back at you, you just laughed it off. He would say something about someone and want everybody to laugh. But if that person says something back to him, then all of a sudden it's a serious thing, you know. I bet it would be funny if I make a phone call to get you replaced. That type of crap, you know. And I would just watch it. One of these days, I got a feeling he's going to try that crap with me and it's not going to be good. And it was about 2 years in, I'd watched him come in and try to intimidate people and tell people he had spy gear, hidden microphones and cameras in the dressing rooms and stuff. And then there was a program book, Janet's program book, beautifully done, beautiful pictures. A lot of the pictures taken by Eddie Wolf. And the program had beautiful pictures of Janet. Through probably the first half of the book, it was beautiful pictures of Janet, different pictures of Janet. And then after that, it was pictures of the dancers. So each dancer would have like one full picture, one full page, and then the opposite page would be like, 4 or 5 pictures of that dancer in action. Beautifully done. Next page, it's another dancer. Well, anyone who knew about that tour is like the dancers were kind of like the featured ones. They were the extension of Janet. It made sense to me. They were like, she called them kids. They were her kids. It made sense that they had that feature. It didn't bother me at all. I thought it was perfectly done. The next page, you see the dancer, and then you see several pictures of them. I thought it was dope. When you get to the end of the dancers, it showed some group pictures of the dancers and Janet or whatever. And then on the last page, opposite of the cover, was one page with all the band members on the one page, like these little square pictures. The square pictures of all the band members on one page. Now, you guys, I'm kind of silly, so I thought it was kind of funny. So when we were looking, most of the band members were like, damn, okay, y'all just threw us on the last page like an afterthought. Now, most of the band members saw it. It was kind of funny to us, Most of us like, oh, damn, okay, they just dissed us, Ha, ha, ha. We kept it moving. There were a couple of band members that were really upset about it. It was like, that's disrespectful. We have just as much contribution to this show as da-da-da-da-da. Well, here's the thing. My way of looking at it was, I got hired to sing and get paid to sing. That's being done. We didn't say anything about a program book in the negotiation. All that's extra. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't bother me one bit. I had a little spot in the show where Janet let me do my little thing, a little whatever, ad-lib spot, solo if you want to call it that. I was happy as a lark. So when I saw the program book, it was funny to me. But everybody, all the band members at least acknowledged it. Like I said, maybe 2 members were felt really disrespected. We're in Bangkok, Thailand, and Renee comes to me and says, hey Romeo, what's going on? I said, not much. It's 2 years in now. It's already established. I'm not a fan of yours. You're not a fan of mine. I'm like, what's going on, Renee? Hey man, can I talk to you for a minute? What's up? So I hear that there's an issue with the program book. Some of the band members don't like it. I said, oh yeah? Yeah. Is there any truth to that? Do you know anything about that? Who are the ones? I said, that's not for me to say. It's not me. I don't care. So you don't feel bad about it? I said, it doesn't bother me one bit, bro. I said, honestly, I could care less. I said, I'm here to sing. I'm cool. For some reason, I just don't believe that. What? I don't believe that. I mean, because it just seems like an ego thing. I just feel like if anybody would be the one with the ego, it would be Romeo. Damn. Okay, well, that's how you feel. That's how you feel, but I've already told you. So he goes, so what's the problem with it? I said, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Doesn't bother me at all. So I'm standing there trying to ignore him so I can keep my peace. And then my friend Sam walks up. Sam and I have been friends since I was probably 9 years old or something. We're from the same neighborhood. And he's very diplomatic. He's his own man. He's got his thoughts and opinions, and I got mine. Renee says, I was just talking to Romeo and I was asking about the program books. You know anything about that? Sam was like, what do you mean? I asked him if there was some people that had problems with the program book, and he says he's not one of them. What do you think the problem is? What do you think it is? So Sam gave him his answer. From what I remember, Sam said, I can see it's Janet's tour. You guys have the right to make it how you want to make it. And I think what some of the people are thinking is that a lot of times, the exposure for one thing leads you opportunity to the next one. And I guess they just upset because they felt like it seems like we were an afterthought on the back page or whatever. And so Renee says, well, you're included in it though. It's not like you're not in there at all. Sam says, true. And so he goes, but I like your answer. I like how you answered it. That's how Romeo should have answered it. Man. To that, I said, no, Romeo should have answered it just the hell the way Romeo answered it. You do not tell me how to answer a question. You ask the question, I give you the answer that I want to give. Then he says to Sam, apparently some people don't know how to speak to certain people. And then that's when I lost it. And I said, bro, let me explain something to you. You don't get to tell me how to answer a question, okay? I told you the truth when I told you it didn't bother me at all. And he gets ready to say something else. I said, bro, let's just end the conversation. I don't want you to say anything else to me. He gets ready to open his mouth. I said, don't say anything else to me, bro, period. And then conversation went a little deeper, and I'm not gonna go into where it went, but say what I had to say. And I walked off. There was a guy that was the president of the fan club. He came to me later. He said, Benty, when you walked off, this guy started to cry. And he kept saying, can you believe how he spoke to me? That was a crazy experience for me. Of course, at that point, we all felt that was probably going to be my last day on the gig, because everyone felt he was going to tell Janet, send Romeo home tomorrow. I know for a fact that the band members felt that. To a degree, I'll be honest with you, I felt like that probably would be the case, but I was like, it's all right. You have to understand, being who I am is not about bowing down to anybody. Again, this is a gift that was given to me by God. It was not given to me by Renee Elizondo or anybody else. So if I don't disrespect you, don't disrespect me. The next day comes and the band members were like, man, damn, wrong. He's probably gonna go tell Janet this, he's probably gonna tell Janet that. And I was like, here's what it is. We're in the dressing room, it's a knock on the door. Someone goes, who is it? And you hear, are you guys dressed? Is Romeo in there? And it was Janet's voice. We all were like, oh, snap, here he goes. And I was like, here we go. So I go outside. Hey, Jan. Hi, Romeo. Can I talk to you for a minute? I'm like, sure. She says, so I heard about what happened. I heard Renee's version of what happened. tell me what happened. So I told her what happened. She was like, wow. She said, okay. I don't know why, he has it out for you. I don't know. She said, but I told him, just leave you alone. Like, let you do your thing and do your job and, just ignore. She said, can you guys just try to stay out of each other's way and just ignore him. And I told him, to lay off and, apologize and that happened. She said, I love your work. I think you're great. And I know you wouldn't just come and start anything. So I'm sorry. We gave each other a hug. I went back. When I went back into the dressing room, the band members were looking like, what happened? And so I said, Janet would just let me know that, she got wind of the story and she said that, she apologized. Now listen, again, here's a surprising moment. I said, she apologized and everything is cool. Certain people are like, cool. And certain people, before they could catch themselves, before they realized it, they were like, she apologized. She apologized. Okay. Are you confused? I was confused for a minute. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, what the hell was that? What, did you want me to be sent home? Did you want to see a bad outcome? What's that response? What is that response? Well, as you continue to grow and get older, you're gonna find out that people want you to deal with things the way they deal with things, okay? So if they buckle to the system, they want you to buckle to the system. Now, that doesn't mean to go against the system is good. What I'm saying is, you go according to the system until the system disrespects you and tries to become more God in your life than God in your life. Then you don't go with the system. You don't bow down to people. You don't bow down to money. You don't bow down. You don't have to be belittled because you think these people are your provider, because they're not your providers. I don't care who they are. So when you go against the way people think you should be, they were thinking you weren't supposed to stand up for yourself when he talked to you like that. And if you did that, there's supposed to be a consequence. So what do you mean that you're not getting sent home? When I was kissing butt, I didn't have to kiss butt. So when you stood up for yourself, you got respected. They're sometimes a little irritated and frustrated with themselves when they see that. That's what it's about. Don't take it personally. I saw it as a blessing. I saw it as a blessing because I could have been the other person who bowed down and who accepted craziness. You see, after the Janet tour, I ended up touring with many other tours, Michael Jackson being one. I ended up working on television shows, major television shows, MTV shows, and The Voice. And, I did a lot of work, and I've never changed who I am. You understand? And the system has never changed either. But here's the thing, my point is, you gotta understand who you are, because ultimately success, remember I said, success is living in a way that you can lay your head down at night and sleep happily, have what you need, live how you wanna live, but be prosperous without having to step on someone, hurt someone else, or diminish yourself or allow someone else to diminish you. So these tours, when I talk about touring with people, I want to talk about all the beautiful things that happen, that comes with it, the traveling and the money and these amazing people. And let me make a point by saying this. Usually when you hear negative stories about touring, usually, almost all the time, when you hear negative stories about this industry and people doing you really badly and things like that, it's hardly ever the actual artist. It's hardly ever the actual artist. Most of the time, the things that you go through are usually someone that's working for the artist, someone underneath them, someone who wants to be more the artist than the artist. When I was going through a lot of these things, I don't think Janet knew. Janet had no idea that this guy was saying, don't sing. Janet had no idea some of the things that this guy was doing to everybody. I don't think she knew anything about it. When it came to her interaction with the band, she was always sweet. She was always kind. She was always down to earth. The artists are usually clueless. They're usually clueless. I just want to say that. So I ended up touring with Janet through the entire Janet tour. After the Janet tour was the Velvet Rope tour. A lot of people ask me, why were you not on the Velvet Rope tour? Well, I'm going to tell you. When the Janet tour was going on, I had a lot of communication with the musical director on a regular, especially when it came to vocal things. He would come to me and say, can you guys work on this? Make sure that you guys work on that. Here's different arrangements. So we would talk. So we're going through the tour. I remember this was after Lil Jon had come on the tour. And the musical director says to me once, I need to talk to you. I said, okay, cool. He said, man, I have a problem. I said, what's the problem? He said, Lil Jon. I said, what's wrong? What's wrong with Lil Jon? I mean, he's cool and all, but he's overplaying a lot. Like a lot of places I just want him to just simplify. He's overplaying it too much. Okay. I said, tell him. I mean, could you tell him for me? What? Could you, I know y'all are cool and everything. Could you just say to him, I'm like, hell no. I'm like, that's your job. You're the musical director. You tell him. How should I, because I don't want to upset him or anything. You're the musical director. You just simply say, hey, Lil Jon, at this section, can you simplify? Can you play less? I don't want you to overplay. Kind of keep this, tell him the beat you want. Yeah, you're better at that kind of stuff. What would I say? I'm flabbergasted at this point. I'm looking at him like, what? Should I, I don't know, like how should I? I said, bruh, just tell him what you want. You're the musical director. You want to play simpler in this section? Just say, hey, this section, don't play this, play this. It's that simple, bro. I'd already seen a sign from him that was disturbing. When I say I'm your friend, I'm your friend. Where I'm from, my city, and even more so, my family. When there's a relationship between us, if you're my friend, if there's any type of allegiance, I take that seriously, So I saw him as my friend. This is before Lil Jon came in. There was, we were doing some shows in New York, and there was a lady, two ladies that came to see the show. One of them we all recognized from her profession, and she's very popular, and we all recognized who she was. Long story short, he came to tell us that they were communicating. Very quickly after that, he came to tell us that he wanted to propose to her, and he showed us a ring. Now, at the time that he showed this to us, the whole band communicated with each other how ridiculous this was. But my band members are positive guys, right? So when he came to us in the bus one day and he said, I'm thinking about asking her to marry me, what do you guys think? Well, once it got past everyone looking at each other from the corner of their eyes, each person said, hey man, if that's what you feel, go for it, bro. Wish you the best. Next person says, hey man, you can't control who you fall in love with. Next person was like, hey bro, you do what you feel, all those types of responses. And I'm sitting there trying to look out the window because I'm like, don't ask me this question because I'm gonna be real with you. And he says, Romeo, what about you? Man, don't ask me, man. No, I wanna know. I said, I think that's crazy. That's just my opinion though. I said, I think it's crazy. He said, why? The whole band's like, oh, Rome, come on, man. Rome. I'm like, dude. And I'm looking at them like, y'all know good and well you feel the same way I feel. You're just so positive right now instead of being real. So I said, it just doesn't make sense, man. I said, I gave him the reasons that I thought it wouldn't work. I said, listen, to be honest with you, it just doesn't make sense. She's this type of woman. She's come up with this way. These are the things she respects. You're this type of guy. I don't think that you ultimately would be, I just don't think it'll work. I don't even want to go into the details. So anyway, this guy now by the way, let me make this clear. The young lady, she was cool with us. Like, I liked her. I still thought she's smart. She's a businesswoman, and we got along very well. We were cool. But he went and told her, Romeo said that I should marry you because of your profession. And that's not even what I said. So next time I saw her, which was maybe a few days later, she came out to a gig. She said, Romeo, for real? Like, really? I thought we were cool. I said, what do you mean we are cool? Why did you tell him that we shouldn't get married? I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't expecting it. So I was like, huh? I was like, did this dude really go? And so she goes on, and I was like, okay. I said, well, he told you that I said it. I said, did he tell you why I said it? Did he give you the whole explanation that I gave? Because I'm not gonna sit here and try to backpedal what I said. I said it. And she said, why would you say that? So I explained to her why I said it. When I finished, she looked at me and said, damn, Ron, damn it, you're right. Well, now guess what? Now he's created something that didn't have to be he didn't have to say anything to her. Long story short, she's trying to call the wedding off. He's losing it. So, like I told him, I said, bruh, I hope I'm wrong. I just told you what I felt. You shouldn't have said anything to her. They end up getting married. And then after being married a short period of time, she asked him to have the marriage annulled. She said, I can't do it. So instead of him looking at this situation like, damn, this is what he was trying to warn me about, I genuinely feel that inside he felt like Romeo caused this. Romeo didn't cause anything. I talked to you straight up to you. You went and said something to her, but it was what it was. It was just what it was. Fast forward again, where we're talking about he wants John to stop overplaying. And I'm like, bro, talk to him. So he says then, I'm just not good with that kind of stuff, man. I know what I'm gonna do. I said, what are you gonna do? I'll tell him that Janet said she's not happy with it and I said, don't do that. Well, why? I said, well, two reasons. One, you're lying on Janet. If she didn't say that, then don't say that she said it. And if you tell him that, now that's gonna put an energy over him that is going to have him not be able to play freely because he's thinking, if I do certain things, Janet may not like it. You don't want him to be playing timid and afraid to be himself, trying to do something to please you. Janet has already expressed that she likes how he plays. So that's just a lie. Don't do that. I don't know how he handled it. I really don't. I don't know if he ever went to Lil Jon to talk to him. And if he said Janet says, I don't know how it happened, but the tour goes all the way through the end. When the Velvet Rope record was done, I'm thinking everything is cool. He's calling me literally every week or two during this whole time between the one tour to the other one. The record comes out, we're talking about, oh man, I can't wait till she goes on tour, it's gonna be great. I reached out to him, I was like, man, have they said anything to you about touring? Yeah, it should be coming up soon, I'll let you know. This, that, and the other. Fast forward, things are really starting to happen. The record is doing great. I'm living in Atlanta and at this time. So I called him and I said, hey man, so when you think the tour rehearsals are gonna start? I don't know. I know that should be soon. As soon as I find out, I'm gonna let you know as soon as I can so we can get you out here and, get you ready. I'm like, yeah, cool, let me know. That happens 2 or 3 times. All of a sudden I'm getting calls from my musician friends in LA. Hey man, you in LA? No, I'm at home in Atlanta. Oh, okay, my bad. I thought I heard somebody said that Janet's rehearsals were starting. Oh yeah? Oh okay. No, I don't think so. Let me call and see. So I called the musical director. Hey man, so rehearsals starting up soon? Not that I know of. They should be, but not that I know of. I'll let you know though. As soon as I find out, I'm gonna let you know. Okay. I get another call from friends of mine. Now they're saying, dude, where you at, man? I was at the rehearsal with such and such group, and they said Janet Jackson singers were in one of the other rooms. And I was like, is Romeo there? And he's like, nah. And I'm like, are you sure? I mean, that's what they said. So I called the musical director again. Bro, are the rehearsals starting yet? Nah, man, nobody said anything to me. Okay. I eventually just think, you know what? Let me call Jaime. Jaime, how's it going, man? Hey, Romeo, hey. I said, what's going on? Not much, man. Are you here? Wait, how's everything going? Are you here? You at the rehearsals? No. I said, are the rehearsals started? Yeah, the rehearsals are right over here at such and such. You're not here yet? Huh. So I'm like, are you sure? Yeah, I mean, I know the band's rehearsing. I thought the singers should start rehearsing. Hold on a second. He comes back in like a minute and a half. He goes, yeah, man. They are rehearsing right now. I just called over there, and the singers are rehearsing right now. They were just telling me that the singers are rehearsing. I thought you were here. Nah, bro. It's weird. I said, who did you talk to? He said, I called at the rehearsal. I called over there right now. He said, and I talked to the musical director told me. I said, the musical director told you? He said, yeah, he's over there right now. I said, really? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I called him back again. Hey, bro, what's going on? Not much. I'm just checking again, man. So you gonna let me know when the rehearsal starts, right? Yeah, I'll let you know. They haven't said anything to me yet, but I'll let you know. You got it, bro. You got it, bro. So at that moment, I realized there's some in the game. I later ended up having communications, and I was told that they were told when the tour was starting up that I was reached out to, and I said I declined because I have some other things that I'm working on, so I don't want to do the tour. Who'd you hear that from? Oh, the musical director said it, and Renee. Okay. By the time this conversation happened, the tour was already going. And you know what? I said, okay, I chalked it up. I was asked by someone.
Do you regret responding to Renee Elizondo the way that you did that time? Because that cost you the Velvet Rope tour. Don't you think that kind of cost you the Velvet Rope tour? Because maybe if you hadn't gone off with him like that, they wouldn't have worked so hard to keep you from being on the tour. Do you see how that could possibly be?
I'm like, of course.
So do you kind of regret responding that way?
No, hell no. Hell no. No. Because, again, he's not my provider. And the Velvet Rope Tour ain't my provider. So it is what it is. If that wasn't meant for me to be on there, I'm not on there. I never stopped working. You know, of course, I would have loved to have been a part of that tour. That tour was recorded and put out on DVD and all this stuff, and it was great. They killed it. I was proud of all my friends. But to be honest with you, and I think Janet, you can say the same thing, the Janet tour was the best tour of all, hands down. And we actually did a recorded version of the Janet tour for, I think it was for HBO. So we did the same thing that they did for Velvet Rope, they did with the Janet tour. But it never happened because Renee Elizondo wanted us to, we weren't going to get any type of royalties from the sales of the DVDs or anything like that. And so we were like, well, if you don't want us to get any type of royalties or for whatever, for our participation in the concert, then what kind of buyout can you give us? And at the time he said, and of course we were like, that's not enough. So the Janet tour that we did actually record for HBO was never followed through on because none of us were willing to be screwed like that. Yeah, of course, now a lot of things I'm telling you about are things that people would never want to talk about. But people need to know. People need to know. People that's going into this industry need to know. Just like in life, there's good and bad. You can't get around it, but at least if you know there's another side afterwards, you keep going, you know. But it's a wonderful career to get into. A lot of blessings come with it. But for everything that's good, there's some bad. It just is what it is. I'm not one of those people who's going to try to act like it's all wonderful or it's all terrible. I share what I learned. You dig? I share what I learned. You can take from it what you want, hold on to what you want, let go of what you want. But I feel so good when I go to sleep at night because I'm real with mine and I share what I learned. You dig? So to sum it all up, Janet Jackson's tour changed my life in a major way. I was super blessed. Janet Jackson was an amazing person to work for. She's an amazing person. In general, there were people that were put in positions that I don't think represented the spirit and the person that she is all the time. And I don't think she had a clue of it sometimes, but that's just part of it. But it was a blessing. In that 2.5 year period of me receiving tremendous blessings, I saw some ugliness. It's just life, and I'm just being real with it. So that concludes touring with Janet Jackson from Romeo Johnson's perspective. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, share, and stay tuned, because guess what? Next, we're going to talk about touring with Michael Jackson.